I've made some changes to our force calc script. I've added in some new stuff that you won't have seen before. So I want to go through this one line by line and just have a look at what's going on. And so a really convenient way of stepping through this line by line will actually be to set a breakpoint here on the first line, run my code, and then have a look at it as we go. So the first thing here, remember the CLC command which I typed into the command window earlier on in this video, basically just clears the screen. So over here in the command window, if I had some stuff there and then I typed CLC, then it just clears that. So I just put that at the top of my script just so that everything that we see on the screen belongs to this script and not from previous content that might have been there. So if I press step up here, then it will jump to the next line. And so the next line here is just assigning a value into the mass variable. So I'll run that line and have a look at the value that's there, 20.5, like we expect. Now the next line here is doing a calculation, so I will run that line, pressing step, and I'll have a look at the value that's in there, 201.105. Now, this is something you haven't seen before. This is called an if statement. And so what's going on here is basically the computer will make a decision, make a choice according to the logical expression, as it's called, that goes here. And so this is pretty much what it looks like, that if force, which in our case is the value 201, is greater than 200, then we will go on to line number 12, and that's what I expect. So let's run that. So I go step and have a look. See, the program has jumped to line number 12 and will run this line here. So what this line does, disp stands for display, and so this will display something on the screen. So let's have a look here. See, the command window has nothing in it, just the cursor ready to receive input if you were to type some commands over there. If I press step, notice that the text which I had written here in quotes, single quotes, has appeared over here in the command window. If I press step again, the program is finished. Okay, let's make a change to that program. Let's do this. Notice that my breakpoint has grayed out here, and so what that means is that my file has been modified, and so I need to save it. Now it's back in red to indicate that it will be enabled, that it will work as a breakpoint. So now I run it again, and we get to here, CLC. Okay, let's run that line. Okay, notice my command window was cleared. Let's step through each of those two lines. Let's have a look at the value that's here in force, mousing over that. That's 103 plus a little bit. So now let's have a look at what goes on here. So line 11, that's where we're up to now. We're about to run this comparison. We're saying, is this greater than 200? Now the value here is 103, so of course it's not greater than 200. So let's step and see where it goes. So we go down here into this else statement, to this else block. So what that means is that the condition here that we wrote was false, right? That force was not greater than 200, therefore this was false. So it's jumped down here into this else block. So now I step in here, and we've got two lines of code, so I'll click step once more. Notice up here in the command window, that text which I had written in quotes, your text is written in quotes here, has appeared in the command window. And now I have something different. I've got a variable itself inside the disk command. Notice there are no quotes here on force. So let's have a look at what that one will do. And you can just see it at the top here. The value itself that was inside that variable has been printed to the screen. So the important distinction here is the difference. If I had have written this, right, with quotes around it, then I would have seen the literal text force, F-O-R-C-E, being printed to the screen rather than the value that is contained by the variable force. And so that's a very important distinction. So now we're at line 16 here. There's nothing else in the file. If I press step, then the program will end.